You know, for decades, we've been completely obsessed with what we eat. But what if that's only half the story? What if there's this other, super powerful lever for our health that most of us have been ignoring? Okay, let's dive into the science of when you eat.
Okay, so we've all heard this a million times, right? Calories in, calories out. To lose weight, you just have to burn more than you eat. And look, that's not wrong. It's a foundational truth, for sure. But is it the whole story? Not even close. It's missing a huge piece of the puzzle. And this is the big question that's really shaking things up in nutrition. What if when you eat matters just as much as what you eat? It's not just about the energy in your food. It's about the signals your food sends to your body. And those signals totally change depending on the time of day.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to go beyond calories, talk about your body's growth versus repair modes, look at a really cool landmark study, then I'll give you a simple 8-hour blueprint you can use. And finally, we'll fine-tune the whole thing.
Okay, Section 1, Beyond Calories. Let's dig into why just counting calories doesn't really cut it.
So get this. A big Stanford study in 2018 found that for just weight loss, it didn't really matter if you went low-fat or low-carb, as long as the calories were the same. But here's the thing. That completely ignores what's happening with your hormones and your overall health. The calories in, calories out model treats your body like a simple furnace, but it's so much more complex. It's more like a finely tuned clock. The same 100 calories at 10 in the morning have a totally different hormonal and metabolic effect than those same 100 calories at 10 at night.
All right, on to Section 2. To really get why timing is so important, we have to understand this one core concept. Your body is always in one of two very different states.
Yeah, you can basically think of it like a light switch. It's either on or off. You've got the fed state, that's when you're eating, using energy, and storing the extra. Then you've got the fasted state. That's for burning that stored energy and, crucially, doing cellular cleanup. The key thing to remember, you can't be in both states at the same time.
Okay, now this is where it gets really fascinating. Look at this comparison. When you're in growth mode, your insulin is high. This activates a protein called mTOR, which basically shouts at your cells, grow, store energy. But in repair mode, insulin drops. This allows for a process called autophagy, which is literally your body's self-cleaning crew. It goes around recycling old, damaged parts of your cells. Both modes are absolutely essential for good health, but they need their own separate, dedicated time to work.
So this all sounds great in theory, right? Growth, repair, but where's the proof? Well, let's dive into a landmark study that really put this whole idea on the map.
This experiment from Dr. Satchin Panda's lab it's so elegant. They took two groups of mice, they fed both groups the exact same pretty terrible high-fat diet. Same number of calories. The only difference was the timing. The first group could eat whenever they wanted, 24/7. The second group could only eat within an 8-hour window. And the results were just staggering. The 24-hour group, they got obese and sick. The 8-hour group, they stayed lean and perfectly healthy. Same food, same calories, completely different outcomes. It's wild.
So why would timing have such a massive effect? It comes down to this incredible fact. A staggering 80% of the genes in your body operate on a 24-hour clock. They have a rhythm. When you eat at consistent times, you're aligning your entire metabolism with this deep internal clock. But when you eat all day and all night, you're basically throwing the whole system into jet lag.
Okay, so that's the why. That's the science. Pretty compelling, right? But now for the important part. How do we actually turn this into something we can do? Let's build a practical blueprint. And the best part is, this isn't just for mice. The results hold up in human studies too. When people stick to an 8-hour eating window, they often lose weight without even trying to count calories. Plus, they see real improvements in major health markers like lower blood pressure. It just works.
So here it is, the basic blueprint broken down into 3 simple steps. Step 1, when you wake up, wait at least an hour before you eat. Give your body a chance to fully wake up. Step 2, get all your calories for the day inside a consistent, roughly 8-hour window. And step 3, and this is a big one, stop eating about 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. This lets your body focus on repair overnight, which is your most important natural fast.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Here's a super common example. Maybe you wake up at 8 a.m. You have some water or coffee, but you wait to eat. Your first meal is at noon. Maybe you have a snack around 4 p.m., and then your last meal is at 8 p.m. You go to bed at 11. See? That's a solid 16-hour fast, and it's pretty manageable for most people's social lives.
Okay, now let's get into the nitty-gritty.
We'll fine-tune this whole thing by tackling some of the most common questions people have when they're just starting out.
And this is it. This is probably the #1 question I hear. What actually breaks a fast? What can I have during my fasting window that won't mess everything up?
All right, the simple answer is pretty straightforward. Water, black coffee, plain tea. You're good to go. Anything with calories or sugar is generally going to flip you out of that fasted state. Now, it is a little more nuanced than that. The context matters. A single peanut might not do much if you're deep into a 20-hour fast, but it could definitely stop the process if you just finished a big meal. But honestly, to keep it simple, just stick to 0-calorie, unsweetened drinks.
Okay, here's a fantastic little hack. How can you speed up that transition into the fasted state? How do you help your body clear out the energy from your last meal and get into that awesome repair mode even faster?
You're gonna love how simple this is. Just go for a walk. Seriously, a 20 to 30-minute walk right after your last meal of the day is a game changer. It helps your muscles soak up all that glucose from your bloodstream, which dramatically speeds up the switch from the fed state to the fasted state. There are more advanced things you can do, but a simple walk is an incredibly powerful tool.
And this might be the most important point of all. Please remember this. Consistency is so much more important than perfection. The real magic happens when you give your body a predictable schedule. Keeping your eating window stable day after day, even on the weekends, is what really syncs up that powerful internal clock we talked about. It's way better to have a consistent 9 or 10-hour window every day than a perfect 8-hour window that jumps all over the place.
I love this quote from the neuroscientist Andrew Huberman. He says the goal is to arm yourself with the mechanisms and the understanding to define what the perfect diet is for you. This isn't about following some rigid one-size-fits-all rule. It's about giving you the tools so you can figure out what works best for your body and your life.
So by shifting just a little bit of your focus to when you eat, you're tapping into these ancient, powerful rhythms of growth and repair that are already built into your biology. The question isn't just about what's on your plate anymore. It's about what's on your clock.